Good morning, Dharma friends. How are you all?
Good.
Today, I want to share an article written by Venerable Yin-Shun. Okay. Venerable Yin-Shun, Bodhi Monastery founder and spiritual leader, has written extensively on the Buddha Dharma and has lectured throughout the United States in many other countries around the world. He born in Jiangsu province, China, in 1919. He embraced the monastic life at the age 7, and at age 20, he entered the Buddhist Academy of Tianning Temple. Thereafter, he studied at the Minnan Buddhist Institute, beginning his teaching career after graduation. In 1949, he moved to Hong Kong, where he met Venerable Yin-Shun and became his disciples. He then moved with Venerable Yin-Shun to Taiwan, where he taught at the Fuyan Buddhist Institute. In 1973, Venerable Yin-Shun was invited by the Buddhist Association of the United States to be the abbot of the Great Enlightenment Temple in the Bronx, New York City. He was also appointed the chairman of the Buddhist Association of United States. For approximately the last 20 years, Venerable Yin-Shun has led a simple life in New Jersey, teaching numerous followers. His goal is to create a pure form of Buddhism in the US by emphasizing the study and practice of Dharma instead of ritual practices and ceremonies. Through Venerable Yin-Shun's influence, the Yin-Shun Foundation was created to translate Venerable Yin-Shun's works into English. In response to his followers' urging to pass on his great learning to the next generation, he founded Bodhi Monastery with the help from the Yin-Shun Foundation. So this is an article in the Huiju magazine written in 1973. The name of this writing is, the title of this writing is, The Two Important Concepts of Learning Buddha Dharma are 1, not to be tied with useless matters, and 2, not to be depressed. When we practice Buddha Dharma, right from the beginning, we must grasp the crucial and correct principles in order to develop our right thoughts, our confidence, our right actions, and our vows. With all these, we can then overcome all obstacles and perish darkness. Without faith, we would not be able to carry on our practice wholeheartedly and sticking to our vows. Any doubts we have will stop us from getting better. Confidence is important to our practice on the path to Buddhahood. Number 1, right aspiration and be calm through concentration. There are many concepts about prerequisites needed for Buddha Dharma learning. Now, let us talk about 2 of these conditions. First, we must not be tied by useless thinking. Second, we must not be sad and depressed. These represent 2 kinds of spirits of Dharma, namely the right aspiration and calm concentration. Let us now go to the details of these 2 kinds of spirits. First is the right aspiration. It means that after we have learned from the Buddha Dharma, we should be able to observe and contemplate everything in life with wisdom. We should be able to make the right decision and pick the right path leading us to be enlightened. To be able to do that, we need courage, diligence, persistence, and merits accumulated from doing wholesome deeds. Doing good deeds is beneficial not only to ourselves, but also to other sentient beings. They will also be influenced to follow the right path to enlightenment. The Bodhi path is the only and correct path for us to follow. Then we move to the second spirit, which is keeping calm through concentration. We need to calm down and maintain a focused mind, observing ourselves and the world. Human beings usually are living in a chaotic mind. Their unstable minds are often affected by defilements and delusions. Once we start to learn Dharma, we should not let our mind remain in that confused state. We must keep our mind clear, concentrated, and be mindful. In this way, our mental activities will be calmed down and we can be in peace. We can then experience the joy of stillness. However, this stillness I'm talking about is not the one achieved after being free from the 5 desires, which are brought by attachments to objects of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body. This state is also found in other beliefs beside Buddhism. And it is not the deep samadhi or deep concentration of the sages of the 3 vehicles. The 3 vehicles are vehicles of Shravaka, Pratyeka Buddha, and Bodhisattva. To have a calm mind means to have a stable mindset through the practices of both the body and the mind. Our mind will be then composed in comfort. For lay people especially, they are working very hard every day for a living. This affects them both mentally and physically. The ability to calm the mind down is very important and is what we need most. With a clear mind, we can practice and gain the sight of wisdom on a worldly level. We can gain wisdom gradually and will see the reality of the mundane world. Therefore, we should be able to create good conditions for the right causes during our lifetime. We should train ourselves actively and positively. If we can bestir ourselves in our daily life to be vigilant in the matter of life and death, and have brought a thorough knowledge of the mundane and supermundane phenomena, then we know what we are doing and we shall perform in a better way. Number 2, not to attach to external objects. When we have been talking about the prerequisites for learning Dharma, what not to do, and so on, let us now look at them from another angle, from the opposite point of view. Thinking about things, including concepts that are unimportant again and again, we tend to grasp onto it unknowingly. When our grips gets tighter and tighter, our wisdom and rational activities will be hindered. Our progress in life will be slowed down, and we shall be facing our decline. A person who loves to tangle conversation always wastes his energy and brain power in dealing with trivial matters. This will make his mind go round and round, so that his mind always remains in an unrest state. If we cannot control our mind, it means that we cannot use our mind wisely. In other words, if we cannot reprove our thinking, we probably do not know what we are thinking about. How can we succeed if we have such a mindset? How can our life be colorful and exciting? We have to set ourselves free. We have to learn to let go and be broad-minded. Being human beings, our awareness is very acute originally. We can be awakened through observation, reflecting, and examining ourselves. However, our minds tend to be entangled by defilements, and we are not willing to let it go. Slowly, our awareness turns blunt, and our power of observation deteriorates. It is just like walking along a dangerous path in the dark. We lose our sense of direction. We lose our awareness, so we have to suffer more in uncertainty. Number 3, to gain benefits and inspirations from the ocean of Buddha Dharma. For those who are accustomed to go round and round thinking about everything, they will find it hard to take in the boundless and profound contents of Dharma, even if they are lucky enough to come across it. How can these people understand the complex and advanced doctrines of the 5 vehicles, the 3 vehicles, and the unique doctrines of the Mahayana? Their mind has been covered for too long by their habits of restricting themselves to thinking about just a problem. They simply do not want to let go. For those who are learning Dharma, if they do not understand or cannot taste the flavor of the Dharma, it will be hard for them to get inspiration from it. They cannot have any achievement. They usually will talk bitterly, sadly, and meaninglessly. Under that condition, even their spirit will remain low. The people who led a hardest life in our world are those who would twine themselves tighter and tighter round thoughts. If the situation goes on and on at the end, they will be neglected, and be ignored by other people. Of course, they do not like to be trapped and would like to break through it. They can only do that by having the energy and spirit. We human beings not only love to entangle ourselves with ideas and thoughts, but we also love to spend our energy on matters related to the others. For example, when we are ignored or mocked by others, we are often angry. We are filled with hatred and will even curse the ones who annoy us. Our anger and hatred will grow with time till we are out of control. Conflicts between people, like arguments, quarrels, and fightings, do not occur for no reason. They happen through a long time planning and calculation. Roughly speaking, the more we like to bind ourselves round and round problems, as time goes by, our binding becomes tighter and tighter, and our thoughts become more risky, more evil, and more selfish. The resulting outbursts will become more bitter, more cruel, and more merciless. That is the main reason for tragedies we see in history. Mankind is hurting one another in bloodshed, a life for a life. You see how stupid, stubborn, and pitiful they are. Those who love to be calculating, fighting, and causing troubles with others are eliminated from this world. They start well enthusiastically, but without exception, they will end up in tears. If you plan to hurt others, it is you yourself that will get hurt. So why do it? Because it is no good to be twined with meaningless thoughts that can bring warfare and quarrels among people. We, as Dharma learners, should never have such thoughts. Number 4, those who tangle themselves with matters will also be sad and depressed. Those who like to tangle themselves with everything tend to be sad and depressed. If they are depressed for too long, they will find it hard to make their vow, the Bodhi vow. Very few can do it. The core of Bodhi vow in Mahayana Buddhism is to have a Bodhi mind. If we take the vow, we follow the path and treat it as our goal and target for our life, then our life will be full of energy and strength. If we can remain conscious and careful, and we persist in practicing the Dharma with high spirits, we shall be able to fulfill our Bodhi vow eventually. For those who do not meet the conditions for making the Bodhi vow, very often they get upset and depressed. They are confused and are always feeling at a loss without knowing what to do. They may even isolate themselves. They are ignorant. They cannot see the real world. They cannot make decisions. They are always egocentric and narrow-minded. When they come across something undesirable, their weakness will all surface. They will bring trouble, dissatisfaction, and grievances to their family, friends, and all their associates, such as religious groups. Feeling melancholy and having lots of grievances are the characteristics of this group of people. Bearing such kind of emotion around, they always meet obstacles on their way. There is hardly a place in the whole wide world that can accommodate such a people, such a kind of people. Number 5, those who are able to act while maintaining their integrity will not complain and feel depressed. So those who can act while maintaining their integrity are those who can bear hardship. Even though people treat them unjustly and cruelly, they do not complain. They do not feel depressed. They will always proceed with what they are doing actively and positively with courage and strength. This is a show of human nature. The mind of most people is preoccupied by trivial matters like heaps of rock pieces. It is so full up that they abstract their views of their real selves. They are often disturbed and confused by exterior conditions. They cannot calm themselves down and cannot be at peace. This is the result of their bad karma. If you really want to achieve something, you will not be like that. Once a resolution is made, all is unnecessary. Trivial obstacles will vanish. The piece of rock blocking your mind will all give way to a bright path. Your mind will be calm, and you can now see clearly and have good insight. You will not continue to go round and round without a sense of direction. You will be able to find your way out of the transmigration. Number 6. There is nothing to be depressed about if you have the right view. Human beings only need to have the right view and remain positive in attitude. They will always be strong and energetic. So they should not be depressed or afraid of anything. However, people are usually not good at learning and practicing Dharma. Yes, they can pray, recollect Buddha, or read Sutra well when they are feeling well. But when they are down, they are not alert enough to make a change in their practice. This results in their being depressed and frustrated. They are confused, and they feel like being tied so that they cannot move freely. They even feel like suffering from migraine. If they do not hold their head up high and get out of such a depression fast, their mental power will fall and they will be dragged down. They are just like burying their own soul pessimistically. What a terrible and shameful way to let oneself down. If we want to fulfill our Bodhi vow, we must open our heart, win over, and evict our greatest enemy, that is the state of being sad and depressed. Number 7, Buddha Dharma is to benefit all humans. It also values the interactions with people. Those people who like to be in a state of feeling depressed do not like meeting people. They do not like to talk and socialize with others. Looking at morality in a broad sense, Buddha Dharma values the interaction between people because Dharma sees all human beings as audience, no matter they are good or bad, poor or rich. Whenever people come together, it provides a chance for us to let them know the characteristics and merits of the Dharma. They may become interested and be inspired. They may go on to take the vow to seek refuge in the Triple Gem. Therefore, Buddhists must be willing to meet people so that the Dharma can reach out to the community. Otherwise, even if you are very knowledgeable in the Dharma, but if you do not want to share with others because you are very depressed, then you may even be considered as a culprit for the disappearance of the Dharma. Actually, there are many such type of people in our world, especially when it comes close to the age of the end of Dharma. If people are very depressed and unhappy that they do not want to meet anyone, their problem is serious. Because they do not want to connect with anyone, you'll be accompanied by the afflictions associated with that. As a result, it is likely that you will, in inevitably be reborn in the three evil destinies. Let me remind you here, people have chances to meet one another because of their past karma. In other words, it needs causes and conditions accumulated through their many past lives. So, if we can make good connections with people that we meet in our lifetime, these conditions will let us help each other in our future lives by sharing the same goals and having the same vows on our path to Buddhahood. You see how important and valuable it is? We should pay attention to it and should promote the idea further. Number 8, do not lock yourself up, which leads to a dead end. For those people who feel very depressed, they simply cannot break away from their mindset. They are isolating themselves, hiding in their own world, like locking themselves up in a dead corner. It is rational and natural for people to get together. We should cooperate with one another, working, solving problems, and resolving conflicts peacefully. A person will turn negative if he is too depressed and refuses to meet others. This situation will deteriorate day by day. When our ideas and thoughts do not have chances to be inspired by the right and new views, we can easily be affected by wrong concepts and defilements. It is hard to stop when it has started, and then our life will be corrupted and ruined. If our mindset is no more correct and healthy, we shall be making more mistakes, caring little about morality and reasoning. The sad and depressed feeling is just like the water flow underneath our house. The problem is not seen now, but if no remedial work is carried out, the house will finally collapse due to flooding and decay. Similarly, if we obsessed by a negative and depressed mindset, but we do not try to release such negative energy, our life will be adversely be affected. We shall completely be corrupted. As Buddhists, we should raise our Bodhi minds to be those who can help the depressed ones. Number 9, the origin for wanting to be tied up with matters and feelings depressed comes from desire, perception, and ignorance. Well, we have looked at the harmful side of being tied up with matters and feeling depressed in brief. Now we are going to look at the causes for such feelings to develop. Roughly speaking, the reason for wanting to be tied up by matters is connected with desire and perception. The reason for being sad and depressed originates from ignorance. In a worldly sense, love or desire is the basic elements for humans to unite, survive, and multiply. So we cannot criticize it indiscriminately. However, if we look at love from a selfish point of view, it is the driving force for us to earn more, to expand and strengthen our social circle so that our social group can live more comfortably and with more prosperity. We only aim to benefit ourselves, our family members, and our relatives. Most people are thinking and doing in this manner. So, in the competition for gaining more, a lot of other people will be eliminated and sacrificed. For this weaker group, they naturally will develop a sense of sadness, depression, and frustration. Such feeling will be all over their head. They seem to be bound by such negative mindset. Actually, all the unwholesome perception of mankind are formed by the wrong mindsets, false wills, taught by the evil teachers of their former life. They are also affected by bad friends, influenced by their bad thoughts and ideas. Further, the improper popular culture of this life, including trend, tradition, belief, and concepts, all contribute to their negative mindset. They cannot identify what is right and what is wrong because they do not have wisdom to do so. Their mind is tied up with different incorrect concepts and cannot escape from it. After some time, this becomes a stubborn and unchangeable force. They are convinced that their thoughts are correct and that their views on everything are superior. They simply ignored all other options. However, when they are attacked by people sharing the same views with them, they are confused and will turn around and deny all what they believed in. It was mentioned in the sutra that those who often hold on to their own ideas are also those who often become angry. Those who are tied by incorrect views either destroy wisdom or waste away their life unnecessarily. That is certainly not a wise choice. The tighter they are tied up with incorrect ideas, the more depressed and frustrated they will become. They will fall into the trap of ignorance. Ignorance and having delusions are the same thing. Having delusion does not mean not knowing anything. On the contrary, they may have sound knowledge in many areas. There are many great scholars and big thinkers in our world. They have very well thought and intricate theories. They follow strict procedures to test their thesis. They also possess attractive and inspiring power. However, their view on life and our world is either real and permanent or empty and void. Many people only see what is in front of them at the moment. They are fully attached to the enjoyment at present without thinking about the past or the future. Without wisdom, these people will just seek pleasure and satisfaction, and finally, their life will be wasted away just like that. Unless we can break through this feeling of being depressed caused by having delusions, we cannot walk tall towards the road to the new world, that is, be enlightened. Number 10. The biggest disadvantages of being tied up with matters and depressed are: one is unable to stick to their goal and maintain their energy. The biggest disadvantage of those people who like to tie up with matters and those obsessed with the feelings of being depressed is their loss of willpower and energy to endeavor. Willpower is very important because the willpower will keep their life moving forward after making careful, wise, and rational judgments. They will never give up. The principle of reality is realized through this kind of attitude. Those who like to be tied up with trivial thoughts cannot face and tackle problems. They dare not even try. They simply turn round and hide in their comfort zone. You can never find a trace of willpower in them. However, willpower is very important because it is the source of power for any success. With a strong and positive willpower, you will be able to develop a noble and dignified personality. The ability to inspire others, to influence others, and to help others depends just on that kind of personality. The reason why mankind can thrive from the world also depends on that quality. Those who are always feeling depressed lack flexibility. Strength comes only through training for resilience and flexibility. If we always feel depressed and upset, we shall not be able to develop the positive willpower I just mentioned. We shall always be accompanied by disappointment, failure, weakness, and misery. Once we can get hold of that spirit, we can turn a new leaf and become someone with a bright future. Number 11. Learning compassion deeply can stop one from being tied up with useless matters. Now, let us talk about ways to keep ourselves from always being tied up with incorrect and trivial thoughts, or from always being depressed. Let us look at the first one. If we want to avoid being tied up mentally, the only way to set us free is through a thorough understanding of compassion. Through the learning, we become more accommodating. We do not compete with others for anything like success, fame, and so on. We are no longer bordered by sad past. Our mind is in peace and harmony. With this attitude, we can really put compassion into practice. If we really practice compassion, it will show its characteristics as water. According to Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, the ideal kind person should act like water. Water nurtures all living beings, so it is vital to life. But it keeps on floating silently without fighting for fame or reward. Though it can sometimes flow gently, it can also flow swiftly too, releasing lots of force. So if we are like water, with so much latent energy within us, we can stand all kinds of attacks and insults. We can still make it easy. We can still take it easy. So by being kind and compassionate to others, we can always be calm and stable. To bring the idea further, the energy accumulated by practicing Buddhism is greater than any other means. So a Buddhist can bear and carry all kinds of responsibilities, no matter how heavy or difficult they are. The energy and power in the mundane world is relative, but the energy or power of the Bodhisattva is absolute. If we practice and learn from unmeasurable compassion, the energy cultivated will enable us to break away from the defiled and painful mundane world. We need to be vigilant all the time, keeping this big heartedness and power. Then we can be free against all afflictions affecting our life. Number 12, learning wisdom from Buddha Dharma diligently can stop one from being depressed. In order to stop from being sad or depressed, we need to learn the wisdom of the Buddha Dharma diligently. The wisdom of Dharma always tells us to look at matters critically. Then we should be able to perceive the truth of the universe, that is, impermanence. We should not be restricted, cheated, and affected by what we see. Life is created under the law of causes and conditions, so there is no such thing as the real ego. I do not actually exist as an independent unit as you see me. So we can see this with wisdom. Then we shall not be attached to the idea of self, and then our mind will be very peaceful. When we have a deeper insight of reality with wisdom, there will not be the concepts of you and me. There will not be conflicts and not to mention quarrels and warfare. The mental block in human race can only be eliminated through our wisdom. When the accumulated defilements are eliminated, our body and mind will feel relaxed and comfortable. We feel like a strong young man after taking a lot of healthy food will change all the nutrients, materials into energy. Similarly, we should convert what we have learned in Dharma, like wisdom, into our spiritual energy, generating both light and heat. With the light leading us to go through our life, everything turns lively and happy. The road in front of us becomes safe and flat to walk on. We don't need to be a prisoner, restricted in the state of feeling depressed anymore. After learning and practicing Dharma, Buddhists like you and me can repent and then eliminate afflictions and not to be tied up by them. We can turn all hatred and anger into peace and harmony. We can resolve all problems that bring us frustration. We can change sadness and depressions into optimism. To sum up, we should lead our life with this attitude, not to be tied up by meaningless thoughts and not to be imprisoned by feeling depressed. We should also need to learn Dharma diligently and carry out our compassionate work often. Then it is highly possible that we can attain Buddhahood eventually. Okay. So this is the end of my talk. I'm going to share with you some photos of Venerable Renjun. This is when he was young, the photo when he was young. And this is Venerable Renjun with Venerable Yin-Shun and Venerable Su-Min. These are very great venerables in the Mahayana Buddhism in recent times. So this is Venerable Renjun. I think it's 1973 when he arrived America. He was in a ceremony with other monks. And then this is 1996 when Venerable Renjun with Venerable Yin-Shun. I think this must be maybe taken the Buddhist in the monastery, Bodhi monastery. And then this must be taken from at Taiwan, probably Fuyan, I guess.
No, Huayi,
Huayu. Oh, okay, Huayu. Okay. So Venerable Yin-Shun, Venerable Renjun, and Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now, Faye, would you like to share some thoughts about you on Venerable Renjun? I know that, you know, Venerable Renjun works very diligently, and he was very careful with his expenses.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but you know, the dana that he had, he used it all for the promotion for Dharma, put it in the Yin-Shun Foundation. I feel really moved by what he did with all the spirits. Yes.
He also promoting all this monastic.
Yes,
he's very
yes.
strict with the monastic, and he's very frugal, very frugal. I have to tell you of one story. When
yes, please.
One time I was told to help him to wash his outfit. So I was waiting for him to change. He won't let me because it was so old and thin, it's already ripped. And I said, can I change the elastic? He said, no, let it be. So I have to steal time to get his outfit to wash. And then he caught me to do it. And he said, don't ever do that anymore. I do it myself. Oh my goodness. He is so frugal and he does everything himself. He said, as long as I can do, I do it myself. You don't have to help me. He will never.
I didn't know that.
Huh? Excuse me?
I didn't know that. I know he was an environmentalist. So
yeah.
Always wanted everybody to be careful with how much water they used at the monastery, and also, you know, making sure, like, if nobody's in a room, turn out the lights.
Oh yes. One time somebody turn off the light very automatically, and there were some ladies still inside. They don't know. It was so dark in the morning. They don't know how to get out the bathroom because it was so dark. You know, he's very frugal, very careful. Yeah, like what Jane was saying. Jane, you can share some of those little things that our master is so strict to us, right?
Yeah, he was. I mean, it was okay though, because he wanted us, you know, to follow a discipline because we were in the monastery around monastics. So he was, you know, very adamant that males and females not to be together alone, you know, unless you were in a group.
Also, in another time, I was washing vegetable. It's so sandy. So he said, you don't need to use that much water to wash that vegetable. Said, and I argue with him. I said, there's a lot of sand in there. Oh, okay, then you can do it. Because he thought I was playing with the water. I used too much water from the faucet. I mean, and also we're not supposed to flush the toilet too often because he said it's wasting whole pot full of the water. You know, things like this. He's really funny. But we follow that, right, Jane?
Yeah, we did, for sure.
He's always around to watch you, what you're doing. You have to be very careful. You're not yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I remember, you know, during retreats when we were all together, and, you know, it would be a joy to see him come in the Buddha hall when we were doing liturgy. And he would, you know, sometimes he would have his folding fan. And I remember him going over to the men, and like, if they didn't have their hands up like this, he would come with his fan and, like, you know, lift up their hands to make sure, you know, they were in the gesture of respect.
Yeah. And also when we're doing this chanting the liturgy, if somebody don't know how to chant, he always walking around checking if we can chant correctly. If he heard you not chanting correctly, he stand by you and then he chant with you until you know what to do. He's very strict, and I miss him because he's very forceful to learn, let us learn the right way. He doesn't yell at us or punish us or something, but
yeah,
but
and
yeah,
he was also definitely a bodhisattva. I mean, he wanted to come back as a human in order to teach again. I mean, he didn't want to, attain, go to the Pure Land or attain liberation because he wanted to come back to teach.
Yeah. Also, he wants to spread Dharma into West. So he forced me to make a vow to translate it. Oh my goodness, that was the thing that I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. But yeah, that's what I keep pushing the English group as much as I can, as long as I'm living, because I promised him I would do it. So yeah, we miss him. We miss him a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Venerable Renjun practiced so diligently through his life, and he started to become a monk, a young monk at the age of 7. So you think, all the things that he taught us must have a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I think you guys are so lucky to can meet him in person.
Oh yes, it is.
Yes, yes.
He's very knowledgeable too. But the Buddha teaching, he's very fluent, and he memorized the verses from the way to Buddhahood every day. We walk around, he always mumbling something. He memorized all the sutra and everything. He's very diligent person. Yeah.
I remember I remember his Saturday morning lectures. I think it was 2004 when I started coming regularly, but he would give the Saturday morning lecture, and there was English translation, but it was so inspiring just, to listen to him, even though I didn't understand Chinese, because from what I understand, he would do discourse in this, traditional style, and the cadence of how, he spoke was just really interesting.
So are there a translator at the class to translate English?
Sometimes.
That's right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, not all the time.
Usually. I mean, it was in the beginning, like way back when.
Yeah, we have translated the way to Buddhahood every Thursday. We have a group of people doing that, and then one lady will read it along with his speech, and then his lectures, and then that was a really popular class, because everybody want to know what is the way to Buddhahood. That time we have like 50, 60 people listening to every Saturday translation. But that we work a lot during that time, So
yeah, there were a lot of people there. I mean, the classroom was like full, but I think then it was Yurong doing the translations.
No, that was when he make a lecture like simultaneously doing that. But I'm talking about different one. Before Yurong joined us to do that thing. Yurong always do the one translation from the Sifu when it's a simultaneously translation, and this is the book translation. It's a different thing. In fact, I think we still have. It's a Betty Bell. You know Betty Bell, right? Jane, Betty?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Betty is the one always reading, because she has a very good reader. She's a very good reader. So, and she's a good Buddhist too, even now. Well, okay, that was good old days, right?
Well, Venerable Guoqing has been hardworking, uploading Venerable Renjun's MP3 and writings onto the website. Yes. Maybe if there are any more like English articles that are being translated, can they upload them if they have? Or?
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of it, but I mean, yeah. I don't know how to do that. It's so old, and I don't know if anybody would do it. I cannot do it. It is all, you need to transcribe it to the digital. Somebody have to type into it.
I am happy to volunteer to do that, Faye.
Okay, I let you have it. I have all the tape. So
yeah, I think Venerable Guoqing had some experience doing that. Maybe you can discuss with him.
No, he won't do it.
No, he's doing it. He's doing it. I saw it on the website.
He wants, yeah.
Okay then.
He wouldn't. I don't know. Sometimes when he's in a good mood, you have to slip it in, rub it in. Otherwise, he doesn't do it. He won't do it. He doesn't want to do it. But now I think he gives the English lecture on Saturday.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's what our English group, like Anne-Marie, Joan, and Patricia too, I think, right? Patricia. Mimi used to come. Where's Dana? Dana did not show up today. So, but they will come and learn, like Larry also. And he would give a English lecture. So that helped to those people. The English group, they have their own study group. So I mean, the Chinese have their own study group, so they don't have a teacher. ShiYi Faster, you should stay with us.
But you know what? It's interesting though. It's Mimi. Is that what was it? Sister Geneva, when I had moved to Brooklyn, she actually, I don't remember the name of this temple, but there's a temple that she went to and introduced me to go. But you know, this is before the pandemic. And when I was living in Brooklyn, I used to go every Sunday, and all they speak was Mandarin. And I was the only one who, spoke English. And it was interesting because since I haven't been in that temple since the pandemic, I'm actually supposed to go to service, I think, next Sunday. So that's why I never really attend the Bodhi, only because when I was living in Brooklyn, I just been going to this temple all the way across town or something like that.
Yeah, you're just like Master Renjun. Even he doesn't understand English at all. And then he sat there and listening to all the people who presenting the Dharma. He said, whether you understand or not, when you're listening, you get something. That's what he said, right? That's what you do, right, Jen?
Yeah, it makes sense, because that's what they were saying to me when I was in the temple, because I think some of the lay people were saying that because I speak English very well, so being around me helped them to understand English. And then, I kind of participate helping in the kitchen. And I don't know what it is, but I think when you go to, it is a monastery. And I don't remember the venerable's name because there's one who does speak English. And when I kept coming every Sunday, they provided me some kind of, I don't know what it is, but it's like a robe that you have to wear. And it's in brown that all of us had to wear as, partaking in the service.
Yeah.
Haiqing,
yes.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, yeah, because I didn't understand what this was. So they gave me like a bag, like a little...
Respect. It's a respect clothes, I think, right? Is it called?
Yeah, it's kind of like our uniform for lay people. So we all look the same. So you don't look in red or blue or like pink, So everyone looks the same, and they don't need to look at others because they just look all the same in black color.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, because I didn't understand. I just saw everybody wearing it, and I know we took pictures, and then I don't know, because I was given that, but then I know I have to go, next week, because at the time, as I said, during the pandemic, it was like very difficult, but where I live should only take, I don't know, like maybe an hour to go there. But it was interesting because when I was there, I really don't understand Mandarin, but because of the Buddhist liturgy that Sister Geneva gave us in class, that's what they're using for translation. well, not, well, yeah, for chanting. So some of it is written in English. So when I need to, you know, turn to a certain page is when some of the lay people were like, oh, we're on page, you know, 290. So they kind of like assist me to go along with the service.
Yeah, the liturgy is good, Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, because they follow it throughout. It's like the service is always repetitive. So we were chanting the I think the one that they chant, the one we were chanting a lot is the compassion mantra. And I think the Diamond Sutra, yeah, because it's in the beginning. So when I get there around 10:30, it's like they kind of start off with the Diamond Sutra with the chanting, and then they get to the middle of the book where they do the compassion, and there's a liturgy that we chant before lunch, after lunch.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, you remember it all. Mimi, you are good.
Oh.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
I try. I try.
Don't worry. When you know, when you practice more, you automatically remember everything. Okay,
right.
let us.
Today is our last day. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, everyone.
Next year we're gonna see you in the monastery, not in the online.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much.